Let's talk about a case where the irony is just as shocking as the crime itself. You've got an anger management counselor, her pastor, and a secret affair that ends in a spray of bullets. It's one of those stories that really makes you question everything, blurring the lines between who's the victim and who's the villain. So first, let's meet Latasha. She's a 37-year-old social worker in Little Rock, Arkansas. Her entire career is built around helping people manage their most explosive emotions. Her specialty? Anger management. You can probably see where this is going. It's a skill she would end up needing more than anyone.
And then you have Pastor Braz. He's a respected leader in the community, a man of God. He was supposed to be the person Latasha could trust when her whole world was falling apart. But instead of offering guidance, he saw her vulnerability, and he decided to exploit it.
What started as a desperate search for counseling in a church office, while it twisted into something much, much darker. A secret affair, built on a foundation of lies and manipulation that would explode into a deadly confrontation.
Okay, so how on earth does a relationship like this spiral so completely out of control? To really get it, you have to go all the way back to the beginning, to a failing marriage and a woman who was just looking for a way out.
So picture this. It's 2017. Latasha's marriage is on the rocks. She feels completely lost and alone. So she does what a lot of people in her shoes would do. She turns to her pastor for help. She thinks he's a safe person to confide in. And in that first session, she tells him everything, and he seems to understand perfectly.
But that feeling of safety, it didn't last long. At all. In just their second counseling session, he makes a move. The professional line isn't just blurred, it's completely erased. The pastor's office becomes the start of a secret affair, and right away, the power is all in his hands.
And let's be clear, this was not some kind of grand romance. From the very beginning, this thing was toxic. It was a relationship built on secrets, control, and a really dangerous power imbalance that was just a ticking time bomb. So Latasha, she's all in. She's convinced this is it, that she's found the one, so she takes this huge step and files for divorce from her husband. But Pastor Braz, oh no. He had absolutely zero intention of leaving his wife. He was playing both sides, and Latasha had no idea.
And this is where things get really, really disturbing. I mean, look at these rules. This isn't just about keeping a secret. This is about total control. A messaging app where texts disappear, that's about erasing evidence. Making her pay her own way, he's covering his tracks. And then, the whole remain naked and call me sir thing, that is pure manipulative control.
And then he drops the biggest lie of all. He tells Latasha that his wife knows all about their affair, that they have this sort of open marriage arrangement. It was the perfect lie to keep her quiet and keep her hooked. But of course, it wasn't true. His wife, Tabitha, was completely in the dark.
So Latasha is completely invested in this double life he's created. But then, something happens that's going to push this whole situation right to the breaking point.
In 2018, Pastor Braz gets a new job and moves with his wife to Tennessee. For Latasha, this is obviously a huge blow, but she tries to make it work. But, distance has a way of making cracks show. And by 2019, the whole thing is starting to fall apart. And that's when he just changes. The guy who seemed so understanding becomes cold, distant, and just plain mean. It gets so bad that during one of their hotel visits, his emotional abuse pushes Latasha right to the edge. She actually pulls out a gun and threatens to kill herself. He manages to talk her down, but wow, the warning signs are just screaming at this point.
So for the pastor, this whole affair has become a huge risk, right? A threat to his reputation. He decides to end it. And the way he does it is just as cold and calculated as everything else he'd done.
After 2 years of lies, after she blew up her own marriage for him, this is how he ends it. Not with a phone call, not face-to-face, he sends a single disappearing text message. It's the ultimate act of cowardice, and for Latasha, it's the final betrayal.
She is just completely shattered. She buys another gun, and this time she plans to end her own life. But then something inside her just shifts. She decides, no, I am not going out like this. She needs answers. She needs to confront him one last time. So she gets in her car and starts the long drive from Arkansas all the way to Tennessee.
So she's driving there hoping for some kind of closure, some kind of real conversation. But what's waiting for her in Tennessee is not closure. It's the ultimate humiliation, a final, cruel act that will send her right over the edge.
When she gets to his apartment, he greets her at the door with his wife standing right there, and he acts like she's just some casual acquaintance. He says something like, "Hey, what brings you to town?" in front of his wife, who knows nothing? He just erases their entire 2-year history in a single moment. It's just brutal.
After that, Latasha is done. She's been humiliated, and she just wants to leave. She asks him for one tiny shred of decency to just walk her to her car. He refuses.
And then, in this final twisted move, he asks his wife, the woman he's been betraying for 2 years, to escort his mistress out. For Latasha, that was it. That was the last straw. The last thread of her self-control just snapped.
All the pain, the lies, the humiliation, it all just boils over in one explosive second. She pulls the gun from her jacket, and the last words she screams at him are, "You broke my heart."
And then she opens fire. She shoots him at least 5 times. He's killed instantly. In the chaos, she also shoots his wife, Tabitha, in the shoulder. She survives, but in a tragic twist, the only truly innocent person in that room becomes a victim of a war she didn't even know was happening.
Latasha doesn't try to run. Her rage is spent. Her life is over. She just waits for the police to show up. The trial was pretty straightforward. She was found guilty of murder and is now in prison, awaiting her final sentence.
So we're left with this really tough question, right? Was Latasha a cold-blooded killer, or was she a victim of extreme psychological manipulation, a person who was pushed and pushed until she finally broke? It's a story with no easy answers, and it's a chilling reminder of how thin the line between love and hate can really be.